Hello guys, and welcome to another video, and today I'll be showing you how to make an SDK push in your application using the Daraja API 2.0. And I'm using Express.js, which is a Node.js framework for writing backend. But if you don't know Express.js, don't worry, because how the API is integrated, it doesn't differ in other frameworks. And for demonstration purposes, I'll be using the Express.js framework. And if you hadn't watched my previous video on how to get an access token in the Daraja API, I recommend you to go back and watch the video. I'll leave the link in the description below. And no delay, let's get into it. So as you can see, I have my simple Express.js application bootstrapped already, and it's just a simple startup. I have required the Express.js, then I've installed Axios. So I recommend you to use Axios, but you can use any other package for making HTTP requests, but I love Axios because it's much easier to use. So I've installed Moment.js, so which is a package for manipulating date and time, and I will be showing you how to use it. Now this is just a basic application whereby it listens on port 3000. Now in my package.json I had set some scripts ahead of time, so it's just one script, which is this start that is will be run each time we start our server, and it is using NodeMon. So the reason I'm using NodeMon is because that NodeMon will keep listening to the file changes and reload if the file changes or we make any changes in our application. So you can use the other one, the normal Node, but I recommend you using NodeMon. Now let's get into it. So open your browser, then go to the developer.safaricom.co.ke, login. If you don't have an account, register is free. Then you'll come here on my apps, this tab over here, then you create a new application. So I will go ahead and create an application, and I will name it SDK push. Yeah, then I will tick all these checkboxes, then you create the application. Then wait as your sandbox is being created. So as you can see, this is our application over here. Then let us show the credential over here. So we'll be needing these two, consumer and secret key, so you can view them. Then copy, I will copy this one, so I will copy it, then go back over here, then create a variable called consumer key, like that, then assign it that value. Then I will create another one called consumer secret. So this will help us in generating an access token. So go back here, and then I will copy the consumer key over here, then paste it over here. But note that it's not a good practice to store these keys on your application like this. So it is recommended to use an environment variable, but because I'm illustrating, I will keep it simple. Now with that, I can make a route whereby it will be handling our request, so which will be a get request app.get. Then I give it a route, so I will name it SDK. The second one, I will give it a callback, whereby this callback will be run when someone hits this request. So it takes two arguments, the request and the response. Yeah, like that. Then I will go back in my in the application, then navigate to the APIs. Then over here in M-Pesa Express, just click on the simulate, then copy this link. So this link is whereby we'll be sending our SDK push requests on our application. So I will copy the link, Then I will create a variable to store that link, so I will name it SDK URL. So these variables, you can name them as you want. So this is the request that we'll be making in order to initiate the SDK push, which will be a post request. Then we need another link whereby just click again on the APIs, the authorization. So this is the authorization API that will help us to generate an access token. So I click on let's go, then copy this. So that link will be made in order to we obtain an access token. I will name it auth URL. You can name it as you want. Then it's a string. I'll copy it. Yes, just like that. So over here we will make an Axios post request. So I'll go ahead and say axios.post. Then the first argument is the link that we are sending the request to, which I named it SDK URL. Then the next one is the request body, and where will we get the request body? So just go back on your browser, then on my APIs, just click on the APIs, then over M-Pesa Express, click on simulate. So simulate, then scroll on the request body. This is the request body that the Daraja API expects. So just go and copy the link, go back, then I will create a variable called const rec body. Remember, the naming convention is up to you. Then I will copy it like that. So I'll be explaining you what this object means. So the business shortcode is the pay bill number. So for example, in your case, if you have a pay bill number or a till number, you will put it over here. Because I don't have one, we'll be using the default Safaricom one. So this is 174.379. Then there is the password key over here, or property, whereby is a base 64 encoded string that contains a combination of the business code, the passkey, and the timestamp, the current timestamp. So this timestamp is just the current timestamp. So the transaction type is the customer pay bill online. If you are doing till number one, there is an option to that is called, if I'm not wrong, business till online or till number, something like that. But we'll be dealing with this one. This is the amount that will be sent. Then party A is the person that is sending the payment in this case. So this is the user. Party A is the user that is making a payment to the business. Then party B is now the one that is receiving the payment, which is us. So here you can put your own till number or pay bill number, but we'll be using this default one, which is the Safaricom one. Now the phone number is the same, is the user's phone number. Then the callback URL, I'll show you. So this is this URL over here. Then account reference, you can leave it as the default one. Now, and let's go ahead and get the passkey inside the Daraja API. So to get the passkey, you have to go here on the simulator, then take your application, which is the SDK push. Now go here, then there are test credentials. As you can see, there is this window over here. So it will provide us our business shortcode and the passkey, but we want the passkey, so copy the passkey. Then I will come here and create a variable called passkey, which will be equal to our passkey over here. Then we'll need something that is called the business shortcode or shortcode. So the shortcode is the business number. If you have one, it will be a shortcode, but I'll be using the default one here. We'll copy this one, then paste here. But if you come back, you can see there is the business shortcode. Now, and we'll need the current timestamp. As I've told you, I'll be using moment.js. You can use the default data object inside JavaScript, but I will be illustrating with moment.js. So we'll create a variable called timestamp, which will be equal to moment dot format. Where is it? Moment. So I will call the constructor like that, dot format. Then I will pass in the format that is expected. If I go back to the Daraja API documentation, here on the timestamp, so where is it? The timestamp. Here on the timestamp, as you can see, this is the format that is expected to be passed. So the first is the year, month, date, hour, minutes, and seconds. So I will copy this one over here, copy it, then go back to my application, paste it like that. So it will generate a timestamp that follows these guidelines. Now here let's get started in editing the stuff over here. I've told you that the password is a base64 encoded string, whereby it's a combination of the business shortcode, the passkey, and the timestamp. So how do you generate the base64 timestamp in base64 string inside JavaScript? So it's easy. So you'll name it, for example, const. I name it password, which will be equals to new buffer. So buffer is just a class inside .js for storing binary data, but you can do some research about it. So I will new buffer, so dot from. Yeah. Now I will pass in the three arguments as they follow this format. So the first one is the business shortcode. So shortcode. So remember, is this shortcode over here. Then you add it to the passkey. Then the timestamp. Yeah, like that. Then you just do to string at the end over here. Then base 64. Yeah, like that, base 64. Now let's go ahead and remove this hard-coded string and replace it with our new password that will be generated. So I will delete this one, and this one will be the password. Yeah, the password like that. And then the timestamp, I will delete it. Even this one, I delete the timestamp that is generated, and I will give it the one that we have generated with moment. This will, I will set its default. So here part A, you can put in a number. So I will put my number over here. So 758, 26, 24, 27. Yeah, like that. So this, then I will come over here, then edit this one also. 758 26 24 27. So you can place your number over here. Then this callback URL should be a live URL. So your Safaricom Daraja API doesn't accept any local development, for example a local host. So you have to do some sort of way that you will make your application live, and I'll be showing you how you can do that for free. So there is this software called Ngrok. So it exposes your API or your application live, so whereby you can share the link with other people. So I've already installed it. So if you haven't installed it, just go on their website. There is the step-to-step instruction on how to use the application. So I will open mine. So this one, Ngrok, I'll click and open it. Now let me clear the screen. I will just type Ngrok HTTP, then my port. So my application is listening on port 3000. So here you put the port that you selected it to listen to. Then and click on enter. So you wait as it generates. So as you can see, it has generated this link over here. So this one is the link that we'll be using over here. So copy that link, then paste it over here. Then you say /stk. So this, the callback URL is just this, the application or the route handler that is used to handle this kind of the SDK push payment. So if you had to name it your route another name, so you will replace this with your route. So it expects the route that is handling the SDK push. So in my case is this one. So this link which is generated using the Ngrok, so this one over here, then append it with /stk in order to call this one over here. Here the next argument in the Axios, let's get back over here. So this is the SDK, the link that we'll be sending the request to. Then the second one is the request body. In our case, we called it rec body. And the third one is the headers. The headers, yeah. So it's an authorization header, which is bearer. It's a bearer token. So bearer, then expect a token. So this token is the one that is generated when we send a request to this auth link. And I've said, if you haven't watched my previous video on how to generate an access token, you can go back and refresh, but don't worry, I will show you here if you haven't watched the video. Now let us see how we will generate this token over here. The way that we can generate this token is making a request in each request that is made on this application, on this handler. A certain function should be triggered to generate the SDK push. And if you are an experienced Express.js developer, there is this concept called middleware. And middleware is just a simple function that will be run before a person hits this route over here. So you'll go ahead above and create a function. You can create it on another file, then import, but for simplicity, I will create it, a function. I will name it generate token. Then I will give it the request, response, and next. Yeah, like that. Now here we'll be making an Axios request, which is a GET request. So you can say axios.get or leave it like that. Then I will pass in the auth URL. Then the next one, it expects some headers. So headers like that. Then it's an authorization header. So authorization header, which is a basic one. So I'll use the template backticks basic. Then it expects a key over here, so I'll do like that. It expects a key. And how do we generate a key? So the key that is expected here is a base 64 generated string, whereby it's a combination of the consumer key and the secret and the consumer secret. And let us do that. So for example, I can say const out key. Then I will just declare a buffer, as we have done the previous step, buffer from. Then over here I'll use the backticks. So as I've told you, the out key which is expected here, it's a base 64 string, which is a combination of the consumer key and the consumer secret. Now the first one is the consumer key, then full colon, then the templating strings, then the consumer secret, yeah, like that. Then don't forget to concatenate or add the base 64, yeah, like that. So this will generate a base 64 string that will pass in over here to get our token. Now I'll name it auth key. Now remember, access is an asynchronous operation, so I will chain the dot then, yeah, then pass it the response, yeah, like that. Then let me console.log the response. Then if there is an error, so I will change the catch method, catch. So I will say an error occurred. If an error occurred, so console.log the error itself. Now with that, if it operates successfully, we are expected to get an auth token. So in the response object comes with another object called data. So this data will contain our access token. So let us test this application over here. So we'll come here and then try to call the function generate token, yeah, like that. Then let me start my server, so npm start, and wait for the server to boot up. Hopefully it will work, so give it some time. I'm using nodemon, so it's listening. Nice. As you can see, it has generated us an access token which expires in an hour's time. Now we have our token. Now let us hook up our function here to work as a middleware inside this request over here. So as you know that in this application handler, you can put a middleware inside here. So I will put the generate token middleware here. So this means that before this request is handled, it goes through the generate token. Then the generate token pass access or passes, what can I say, authorization to the next handler.
What are you saying? What are you saying? What is he saying?
Will be executed first, then next this will be executed. So this will help us to get the token, then we handle this request. Over here we are consoling.log, but we must find a way whereby we can access the token. over here, over this request over here. So it's simple. I will store the token in the request body. So we'll come here and say requests.token. So we'll create a variable inside the request body or the request, and I will say it's response dot data dot access token. Yeah, like that. This will store the access token inside our request body, whereby the requests, I'm sorry. So the request whereby this token will be also available inside our application over here. Now, and we can come here and I will create a variable called const token is equals to, remember we stored our token inside a variable on our request called token. Request.token. So this will come over here. With that, I think we have done everything. Now the thing that we are left with is to test our application. Now I'll be illustrating using Postman, or you can open your browser and hit the local host over here. But let me use, for simplicity, let me use the browser. I will say localhost port 3000. I will click here, so it's working. Now let us try visiting our route, which is stk/stk. Now I can wait as it processes. So hope that there is no error. So we can go back and see. What's happening? Oh, I've forgotten something. So this request won't happen because I haven't called the next one. So you have to indicate next in order to call the next middleware. But if you don't indicate, or you don't call the next function, this function will never be executed, so it will just be on a loop. Now let's go back and test it again. So you can say localhost 3000/stk. So click. So there is an error that has occurred. It's a large error, so invalid authentication error. So authorization error. So we have an error message that says that we have an invalid authentication header. So let us see. Authorization. Think I had misspelled this one over here, and hope it will work. Then go back and refresh. Yeah, it's working now. So I will show you. I've got the STK push. So as you can see, I've got the STK push. So I can cancel. Let me cancel. So go back and just refresh. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's working. So I can show you over here. And yeah. So if I refresh this one over here, so let me put it side to side so you can see. So if I visit this route over here, so I refresh the route. So let us wait, give it a moment.
3 hours later.
as you can see now, the I've been prompted to pay over here. So our operation has gone successfully. So let's go back over here. So the reason that it is hanging because we haven't returned anything. So we have to chain .10 because it's an asynchronous operation. .10. So if it is successful, so it will return a response whereby let's say we'll res.json, we'll return it, so we can return the whole response. Then if an error occurs, we'll catch it. So error occurs, we'll catch it, then res.json err. Yeah, that, I think we are good to go. And let us test it again. So I will go back over here, refresh. So go localhost 3000 SDK, refresh, and I've got the SDK push, which is over here. Then let me put my pin. I'll put my pin. Yeah. Then we wait for it to process. Yeah, it's done. So give it a moment in order to process. So let me cancel. Guess it has sent twice. So okay. So if you pay, it will return a response. Oh, now it's here. I think I can see it. Yeah. So it has sent, so I've done it successfully. But the main takeaways was, let me stop this one. The main takeaway was how to get an SDK push. We'll be covering how now to process the transaction now after the payment has been made. But as you can see, it's not that hard. So what we need is in order to make an SDK push, we need a token, which is an access token that is generated in this function by making a request to the auth URL over here. Then you get a response which will contain the access token. Then I stored it inside the request, and the request in a variable called token. Now when we are here, we can access the token over here. Then we make our request over here. Now the main key takeaway is the password. The password should be a base64 encoded string that is a combination of the shortcode, the passkey, and the timestamp. And it's a base64, so you can pass the password over here. The timestamp should be in this format over here. So year, month, date, hour, minute, and seconds. Yeah, so this is the number. Party A is the one that is making the payment. Party B is the business. The phone number is the same as of that of the user. And the callback URL, make sure that you have hosted your application, and I've shown you the easiest way is using ngrok. So ngrok will host your local host for free, and then you copy the link, put it over here, then slash the route handler that is handling the SDK push, whereby is SDK in my case. But if yours is different, you can put it the different name according to what you named your route. So my name is /SDK. Then you make it so it expects the URL, the request body, which is this body over here, then the headers, which is the authorization bearer, then the token, which is obtained by getting the token inside the requests. Then after that, you can chain the then and catch. Yeah, just that's it. and there you can you have made an SDK push. And I think that's pretty much it. So if you have any question, you can leave it on the comment section of below. I will be happy to answer them. If there is something that you want me to clarify, I will happily do it. I will oblige. And just subscribe, like, to keep me motivated to do more such videos about Daraja API. If it has helped you, just leave a like. And that's pretty much it. And I think I'll see you in the next video.